Like my x-ray of my teeth.
You've arrived at the Texas to Tennessee podcast, your home for your favorite independent artists and a couple of guys you've never heard of.
Who?
It was Texas, it was Tennessee. It was what I had coming to me. You were unlike anything.
Howdy, folks. Welcome in. You have arrived at the Texas to Tennessee podcast. My name is Steve. Up top or somewhere on the screen with a white hat, that's our friend Soule Gravy. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Glad to be here.
Same here.
March is off and running. Lots of good stuff going on. We do probably need to make sure and recognize Evan Boyer and Adam Hood because we sometimes occasionally forget, but we'd like to thank them for the intro. That's my favorite thing to hear every Tuesday and Wednesday.
Smile every time. Can't help it.
Yep, we see you on YouTube and Facebook and Instagram tonight. So thank you so much for joining. We appreciate it. Couple things that we like to go through housekeeping wise. If you want to try to keep this endeavor going, please send Soule Gravy cash. He appreciates it. If you can't do that, just subscribe, share, enjoy, comment, like. Hang out with us every Tuesday and Wednesday at 8 o'clock. We appreciate it. Also, Saturday, 10 a.m., Tier Miners Ball. So we're a little get-together we have to help our friend, support our friend J.D. Graham and his family. Thoughts and prayers have been with J.D. for the last few days. And come hang with us because it's going to be a fun time, I think.
Looks like I'm gonna. So if you're not familiar with what's going on with it, artists are sending in videos, just a little, them doing an original song or a song that means something to them, or a JD cover and a little message for JD. Some are like, they're close friends with him that I didn't know, but have reached out and sent videos and stuff like that. So it's. There's some tearjerker videos that people have sent in. So, it went from originally when we started this, JD was in the hospital, things were really bad, and now he's actually gone home, which is great to see. So, still a tough battle, but more on the well wishes side of things. So, which is great. So,
it's going to be a long battle based upon, I guess, the information that we got in terms of the injuries and whatnot. So any support y'all can provide is greatly appreciated. We are incredibly fortunate tonight to have the Texas legend Jamie Richards in with us. Welcome in, sir. Good to see you.
Oh, thank you guys, man. I appreciate it. Been looking forward to this. From the own home.
You got some big news. You've got some big news. I know there's something coming out on Friday. Anything that you can share with us right out of the gate?
Sure. Yeah, it's my new single. I hadn't had a single out 2 or 3 years, and this was all new material. We cut 17 songs really, so had lots to choose from. And this is our first single. The album's not out yet. It's called Somewhere in the Middle. And I did not write this song. I wrote about half of the material on the album, but I did not write this song. But I love the song. Got a lot of, it's just a cool vibe song. It's just the vibe, especially the melody and stuff. It's just a great lyrics too. But Roger Springer and Wyatt McCubbin, and I knew I'd not remember the other guy. I'm sorry. I hope he takes my apology for that. But those two guys have written a lot of big country songs for Mark Chestnut and a lot of people. And I'm happy to get a hold of this song. I heard it about 5 years ago, and a guy that I knew played it for me, and I said, man, that's really great. And I just hung on to it and finally doing the new record, and we cut it, and it came out great. I think it's a good first single. So that's my story.
Well, folks, you heard it there. Go pre-save. Yep.
Yeah.
It's a good one. Go pre-save and get your That's great to hear. Get your playlist ready, and we will make sure and post it on the First Listen Friday, number 179, this Friday. So that'll be available and on there. Jamie, if you don't mind, could you maybe, I mean, in case there's somebody who's new to the show and maybe new to the music world, but do you mind taking just a couple minutes and sharing a little bit about yourself?
Sure. Yeah, I grew up in Oklahoma, a little town, really Bethel Acres, which was a suburb of Shawnee. Shawnee's not that big. Shawnee's might be 35,000 people now, which has grown quite a lot. Bethel Acres was a little place we had a quick stop and a stop sign, and it was a kindergarten through 12th school. And Wade Hayes also, the country singer Wade Hayes is also from that little town. And Mike McClure right down the road, a little batch of us right there together. But anyway, I grew up singing gospel music, until I got to high school, and I started playing in a country band and ended up playing a lot of stuff for about 10 years and moved to Nashville when I was about 26 and worked construction for years and years. Finally broke in and got some record deals on RCA and Capitol and developmental deals with guys like Mark Wright producing and some other, talented people, Don Cook. But finally, I landed a deal at Curb Publishing and in 1999, and I was with them till about 2005. And I had a record deal with them and a publishing deal, but so they decided they weren't wanting to put anything out on me, and I was all rip roaring to be an artist, So company out of Houston, Texas,
Sure.
D Records, which is Pappy Daly's old label, actually started George Jones and George Strait. That label did out of D Records, and Wes Daly was the son of Bud Daly, and his daddy was Pappy Daly, who produced George Jones. So, long story short, they signed me to a deal and started putting out singles to Texas with me, and I was living in Nashville. So when I got finished with my writing deal, I ended up, I was driving like every weekend all the way to Texas from Nashville in my truck just to play wherever I could, like everybody else can. I got a band together and a little 4-piece band, and we started just running the Texas roads. And eventually I moved to Oklahoma, then on down to Texas just about 3 years ago when I got married. My wife wanted to live in Weatherford, Texas, so I figured if I wanted to stay married, I would. So I came on down, and that's kind of my story to get to this point. I've had
Good call.
Yeah.
I've had let's see, I guess I'm on my 8th album. This will be my 9th album, I believe. This new one that's coming out called Blue Rock Sessions, which we recorded in Wimberley, Texas, and I sang it in Denton, Texas at Panhandle House. It was all cut down there, and we come up and I sang it here, and it's just been a great experience. And I looked for the songs for a good year. I feel really great about the song selection we got on this record. And I wrote about half of them, and we found some great songs. I've got some songs on there. Dean Dillon, I've written some stuff with Dean, and I got one of his that I really love. I've got a really cool song on there that a guy named Bill Caswell, who was a singer-songwriter from Bartlesville, Oklahoma. Well, he wrote some pretty good hits for people. Well, he also wrote a bunch of songs with Keith Whitley back in the 80s, of course. And he gave me a cassette filled up with Whitley singing acoustic. I mean, just him on a guitar singing on this cassette, just a rough vocal. And one of the songs was called Between You and Me, and it's a waltz. So Bill has passed away now, but his wife, and we talked, and she gave me permission. And of course, I, got the licensing and stuff, but it's never been out. It's never been heard. Keith didn't have a record on it. I'm sure they would have put it out on him. Didn't have it recorded, but it's a great tune. So that's kind of a neat deal about some of these songs. I got a Keith Whitley co-writing one of these songs, which I think everybody's going to notice. It's got his thing about it. It's kind of got his style, should I say. So very excited about having that on the record too, among a bunch of other stuff too. It's a great record.
Can't wait. Yep. Can't wait to hear them all. But I guess it sounds like we will have to wait a little bit. But we'll get a taste of it on Friday, and looking forward to that. Yes. Jamie, we're going to give you a little bit of a break, unless you're welcome to jump in at any point. But this is
Definitely.
Okay.
Why Are They Famous? Shawnee, Oklahoma edition, number 195 or 196. I'm not sure, somewhere around there.
Yeah.
Soule Gravy, you're lucky, or maybe unlucky.
Mm-hmm.
He he dropped one of the names in there. So
Yeah, I was paying attention.
Yeah, all right. You're down to 13.
Wow.
Some of these you may have had before, so we'll
I
see
thought
if
we
you
were
were
shortening the
really
list.
paying attention.
Okay.
Yep.
All right.
All right. First off, born in Shawnee, Oklahoma. Brad Pitt.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Brad Pitt's work. Yeah, he's
Yep.
pretty popular.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
has made quite a career in acting.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
I was born in the same hospital downtown Shawnee.
Joe Frank Cobb. Oh, there you go.
Okay. All right.
It's impressive.
Good.
Joe Frank Cobb, Soule Gravy.
I don't think I'm familiar.
He was the actor originally known as Fat Boy in the early Our Gang series.
Okay. All right. I don't remember.
Little Rascals, that whole thing.
Oh, okay. I got you.
All right. Same last name. First name Patrick, last name Cobbs with an S
Patrick
on
Cobb, Pat Cobb. I don't think I'm familiar with his work either. What did Patrick do?
Patrick was a running back for the Miami Dolphins.
Okay.
So shout out to Patrick. All right. This is the only one that had a picture. So I feel like you might have a chance at this. Leroy Gordon Cooper.
Why I don't have a chance at that one, even though it had a picture. No, I'm not familiar with Leroy's work.
He was one of the original Mercury 7 astronauts.
Okay. All right.
Shout out to Leroy.
I mean, that's something right there to be named Leroy and be an astronaut. You know,
Heck yeah.
That's like, that's not the typical name you would think as an astronaut, but you know, I guess Leroy is, you know,
he's defeating stereotypes.
Exactly. That's what I'm meaning. You know, but they're like, you know, it pays. How much does it pay? Hell yeah, I'll do it.
100%. All right. Soule Gravy, Ryan Franklin.
I'm not doing very well. I'm not familiar with Ryan's work either.
Ryan was to be fair, he wasn't born in Shawnee, but his wife is from Shawnee, and he makes his home in Shawnee.
Okay.
Pro baseball player for the Cardinals, Mariners, Phillies, Reds. I think he was a pitcher.
Okay.
All right. Darian Gordon.
That name sounds really familiar, and I don't know why.
I think sports ball.
I know. I can't think of which. I'm not gonna say it. Which sport it would be in. Yeah, I'm not sure.
He was a pro football player. Played in 3 Super Bowls with the Raiders, Broncos, and Chargers.
Raiders, Broncos, and Chargers. That means he was a while ago.
Little bit ago, especially for the Raiders. Jonathan Gray.
I don't think I've.
Yeah, he's a current pro pitcher with the Rangers. I know that because.
Oh wow.
We're kind of close. Yeah. So.
Y'all live. Yeah. Understand.
All right. Brewster Higley. That seems like a tough one. He's a homesteader, a medical doctor, and poet of the famous folk song "Home on the Range."
Okay. All right. Shout out to Brewster.
Yep. This one you got a really good shot. Creed Humphrey.
Creed he plays for the Kansas City Chiefs.
He does.
And I believe he went to the University of Tennessee, I think, but I could be wrong.
Right. Oklahoma or
I'm
Tennessee.
not sure. I don't know. I don't remember.
Fair enough. Gregory Chad Petrie.
I don't think so. That sounds familiar, but I don't know why.
He's a singer for the band called Shiny Toy Guns.
Okay.
I'm not familiar with their work, but I'm sure they're great.
I've heard the name.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Robert Reed. You can tell we're going alphabetical, Jamie. We're almost done.
What? I'm not familiar.
Robert Reed, also known as Mike Brady.
Okay.
From the Brady Bunch.
That's the way I kind of feel with these boxes on my computer screen. Anyway, we're all in 3 different. Yeah. So yeah, I got it.
Does that make you Cynthia or Cindy?
I'm not sure. I keep moving.
Okay.
So
yeah, well, that's a good point. All right. Troy N. Smith, maybe one of the most famous folks from Shawnee because of what he did.
What did Troy do?
He was the restaurateur, developer of Sonic drive-ins.
Okay.
First Sonic, I believe, was in Shawnee in 1959.
Now they're in every single town.
Everywhere.
Yeah, especially in Texas.
All right, we're going to finish strong, Soule Gravy.
All
this
right.
gentleman was actually born in Prague, which is close by,
Uh-huh.
but claimed this as his hometown. His name is Jim Thorpe.
Jim was I think a baseball player. Yes.
He was.
That was a little bit before my time, I think, but
It was before all of our time, I'm pretty sure.
but he was pretty popular. I think he's a Hall of Famer, right? I don't know.
Yes,
but
pro football, basketball, baseball, track athlete.
Olympics.
Yeah.
all right.
So shout
off.
out to people. Yeah. Amazing. I mean, one of the greatest athletes of all time, apparently. So. All right, Jamie, thank you so much for putting up with our shenanigans. Soule Gravy will look to do better next Tuesday.
Maybe. We'll see.
Well,
All right, we're going to ask you.
Okay. Go ahead. I said I feel so great to
Jamie,
know.
we're going to ask you.
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was going to say I was really shocked that the Brady Bunch kid was from there. I didn't know that, and it's pretty amazing to me. You know, I mean, that guy.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm
That's why.
excited to always learn new information, and one day Soule Gravy's going to remember this.
That's why he loves that set. Well, there's two reasons. One, to tell everybody about, he likes, introducing this knowledge, and then two, to make it kind of pokes at me for not knowing, even though I don't know, I'm not looking at where you're from, so I have no material to study off of.
Makes
kind
it
of
hard.
set up, but either way, whatever.
All right. Well, you did good.
Thank you.
All right, Jamie, this is called the pie question, and it sounds weird, but it's a musical pie, and I'm going to ask you to divide it up into 4 sections. Those 4 sections are songwriting, recording, performing, and then the 4th piece of pie is everything that doesn't fit into one of those 3 pies, for example, or one of those 3 slices. So, for example, having to sit down with weird dudes to do a podcast, changing tires on your band van, social media, booking, all the different things that when you're new to the music scene, you don't necessarily know that you're going to be spending your time doing, but that's the 4th section of pie.
Okay.
So the question is, which of those 4 sections for you do you feel most is home for you?
I would say performing. Probably performing.
Okay.
Uh,
That's not what I was going to guess, but I want to hear more about that. Why? I guess when did you figure that out, that was the thing for you?
well, I mean, I think songwriting is probably just as important to me, but I feel, I've written a lot of songs with a lot of different people. Some big Hall of Fame writers too have taught me so much about writing. But I guess my mother had me singing from 4 years old, gospel music, and we would go to these all-night singing conventions in Oklahoma, like Kanawha and places like that. And I would be there with the Blackwood Quartet, those brothers, and all these different big, huge religious groups, and we would be kind of like in between setting up the bands. I'd be standing on the piano bench, singing with my mom playing piano, and kind of got me started. And of course, she loved country music too, and it wasn't long. I guess I've just sang and performed most of my life, and I feel pretty comfortable doing it. Songwriting, as a teenager, I started trying to write a song. So, do you want me to go to the next piece of pie? How does this work?
Yeah, that'd be great. If you want to talk a little bit about songwriting, that'd be wonderful.
Okay, I didn't know if there was you want me to talk about a little bit of
It's your pie.
It's my pie. I can have it and eat it too, or whatever. That's cake. Isn't
Yeah,
it?
your pie.
Yeah.
No,
Well, I started
close
writing.
enough.
I started writing as a teenager. I wrote, 5 or 6 songs and didn't really know much about how to do it or anybody around me in Oklahoma that I was writing with, but I just kind of started learning how to play acoustic guitar when I was about 10 years old and just kind of picking around on it. And uh, but I guess when I got to Nashville, it really became a priority for my years there because of who I got to write with. And, I wrote with the guys that have wrote. I mean, I've written a song with Dean Dillon. I've written, a lot of different people. And it's just like, I don't know. It feels really great. The best thing I can say about my songwriting is, I've written some stuff that's been cut by Ken Mellons and Hal Ketchum and some people like that, Cody Jeeks, Kevin Fowler. But I guess nothing makes me feel quite like when you got a hold of a really good idea and you feel it, whether I'm by myself or generally I'm by myself when I feel this, and I can't stop writing. I just keep writing on it. I just can't even sleep hardly. I want to finish this song so bad, and it's usually a pretty good tune. And that feeling comes along once in a while, but not that often. Like when you get that pit in your stomach and you got a hold of one. And there's nothing, I guess, even performing to me that feels as great as that feeling can. I just wish I had it more often because it means you've got a hold of something really great.
Understand.
Yeah. Uh, but anyway, I think that's a big deal for me. I did learn to co-write on demand when I was staff writing at Curb in Nashville for close to 5 years. And they would set me up with writers or artists that were looking to write and all that stuff. And, without really knowing what we were going to write about, getting in a little cubicle type little room or maybe coming to my apartment or my house when I got one up there. But, writing songs with a lot of different people is also an eye opener for me too, because you don't necessarily write a good song with somebody that you really know or like even, one of your good buddies doesn't mean you're going to be able to write with them. I wrote some great songs with, to me, they were great with people I just met that morning. It just clicked. And we probably wouldn't even go have a beer together, but we might write a good song together. One of those kind of deals. I don't know. That's the way yeah.
I'd like to dig in on just a little bit more on the songwriting, if you don't mind.
Sure. Yeah.
Is there a specific area of songwriting that you maybe think is something that you excel at, whether it's melodically or lyrically or structure or whatever it may be? Is there one area where you go, okay, this is where I maybe contribute the most?
I've known a lot of people that have really one area that they're great at, like a prolific lyricist or come up with great melodies. My melodies all tend to be a little bit the same. I think it's kind of a little bit of a style maybe I've developed through the years, but I've never been one of those kind of guys and I wish I had this where it's kind of a hook, like a melody hook, some kind of a really crazy melody hook that just grabs people. And that's not my strong point. I think my strong point is probably writing a good sad country song, because I wrote a lot of them, and I mean they all sound, people are hanging from the rafters, But I think I think I'm a pretty good lyricist, and I think I'm a pretty good melody guy. So I think I'm a little bit of both. I'm really, I think I do both of them pretty well, but nothing just stands out as something like I think that's why I can write some stuff alone and still do decent with it, as a solo writer.
Well, that's an amazing skill to be able, to have all the pieces that you can feed into and as needed. So yeah, totally makes sense. I guess this is almost more of not a technology question, but how do you physically get the songs out? Are you singing into your phone, or are you writing things down on paper, or some combination of all those things?
Well, I think, before the iPhone, and I had a little cassette player at one time, when you hit the little bitty tiny little small, Well, even the small little cassette player,
Yeah.
like a answer machine or something.
Yeah.
I had some of those, but I can
Mm-hmm.
remember going down the road and
Yep.
something hit me, and I would just grab a piece of paper and just scribble something out as far as a lyric or maybe an idea. But since the iPhone come out, I've always got things. My notes are loaded with stuff that I think of, and I just put the idea down on my phone. And if I'm, and then if I got a chance, I'll record into the phone. So really, I do record into my phone now. It's about the only way I do it. So it really pretty good way, because I know it back in my past when you don't have anything to write a melody down with, and you think, well, I'm never going to forget that melody,
Right.
and then 30 minutes later, you can't remember it. And it's crazy because you're like, how are there so many notes or whatever to go around to where you totally can't remember what you thought was the greatest melody 30 minutes ago? There's something different. I've went to lunch before and came back and said, okay, where were we? And I lost it, So I try to record everything now.
So frustrating.
Yeah.
No.
So I want to know how and when you decided to make that trip to Nashville. I know you probably were writing songs and things like that beforehand, but what happened for you to decide I'm gonna take this swing and move a few states east?
Yeah, I tell you, it was like I was 26 when I decided to give it a shot. And at the time, I had a band in which Wade was playing lead, actually at the time in it, Wade Hayes. But I kind of decided to go. I had a girlfriend at the time who now is a super famous songwriter. And she was BMI Songwriter of the Year one time, and I'm still driving nails, so I got it. But at the time in Nashville, but she was we started dating. I was 19, she was 17 or something like that, and we stayed together for 14 years. But she came to Nashville with me, and of course there was nothing fast that happened. It was slow going. I guess it was 1987 or 8 when we moved. We moved into an apartment. I had $1,000 in my pocket. I had a bed and a TV sitting on top of the bed and a camper shell on my truck. And that's what we had when we rolled into Nashville. And then I worked construction for years and years. And finally, about 12 years, I worked a day gig. But I got some record deals through that time. And it was funny. I remember, I'm trying to think of that guy's name. Oh, Joe Galante. He was the president of RCA Records. And I got a meeting with him through a couple of people. Biff Watson and Jim Rushing, they were both, Biff Watson was an acoustic player, played on everybody's record, and Shania Twain's even. I mean, everybody you can think of back in the 90s. And Jim Rushing wrote countless big hits for a lot of people. But they were interested in me, so they took me up there to Joe Galante's office, and I played live for him. I played about 3 or 4 songs. And he said, okay, I'll give you a developmental deal. And that was one of my first things that I thought, well, it's on now. It's on. It's going to be this. It's going to be easy on him now. Well, it wasn't easy at all. But anyway, I know that. So he gave us a budget to go cut some sides, and we did. And I was still working construction, framing houses, and I would go into RCA a couple times, like directly from the job. And every time I'd get to the front desk, the girl would look at me like, what are you doing? Who are you? Because I was filthy. Well, I'm on your roster. Oh, yeah? Okay, hold on here. Let me see if he's in. One of those kind of deals. But I never, people think when you get a record deal, but record deals don't really pay any money to live on initially. I mean, until you cut the album and they put it out, and then finally they may sign you as a writer for their publishing company. But that was kind of a neat time for me. It drug along for about a year. I think that was in 1997, I believe. It drug along for a year or two, and then it kind of fell apart. They ended up going with a guy named Andy Griggs. Probably remember him. He had some hits on RCA in the 90s. Mm-hmm. He's a good singer, but they only looking for one guy, and he was prettier than me, and that helped him and stuff. So that's how I lost that deal. But I had some other stuff. I had Mark Wright signed me to a deal. Mark Wright produced Clint Black, Chestnut, everybody you can think of, Gary Allen, and he signed me. He came down to Shawnee, Oklahoma, and watched me play in a bar there called Cowtown. I don't know if you're familiar with it or not, but it was kind of between Shawnee and Tecumseh. And it held about 800 or 900 people, but it was just a crazy place.
Okay.
Played there. I kind of grew up playing there. But anyway, he came down there and checked out our show, and that one drug along a year or two. Everything I had, it was great to get to the point, but then I just couldn't finish the deal off, but until I got on Curb, and then Curb ended up signing me to a 5-year deal as a artist also. And Ken Mellons was there with me on that label. You probably remember Ken, Jukebox Junkie. I'm just an old Jukebox Junkie, all that kind of stuff. So I got to be good friends with Ken, and he ended up cutting probably 6 or 8 of my songs on his record. So he and I are good friends to this day. In fact, I seen him today on Facebook, commented about something on my post. But that's kind of, I had another little deal or two, but it was fun to get to Nashville for me. But all of a sudden, when I got a chance to get out of there, I was ready and get back down to Texas and Oklahoma, where I was used to the old honky tonk scene, and that's what I'm good at. So I thought it was fun to learn how to write songs. I think that they taught me a lot about it, for sure. Those guys there and girls in Nashville about the right way to approach songwriting. So, and a lot of singles I've had out in Texas just went to number one. I've had 13 number ones down here in this regional radio chart. And I wrote a big percentage of those in Nashville when I was there. So, it wasn't all a waste of my time. It kind of educated me,
It seems to still be going on, though. I mean, we talk to all kinds of people, even, that are maybe, I think we've had several on here that just moved to Nashville. Things like that, in the songwriting and the networking part is still a huge, they might not be looking for that record deal like, it would have been in the past, but as far as just meeting people in songwriting, that still goes on, and still, people talk highly of that part, that side of it.
Totally, it's all about who you know.
When you made that.
I said it's all about who you know.
When you first decided to make that trip. I'm sorry, I was just going to ask, when you first decided to make that trip to or just to dive in the music in general to try to make a career out of it, did your family kind of understand what you were doing?
Yeah.
Does that make sense as far as
my mother? Yeah, for sure. My mom and dad, my mother and dad were big time behind whatever I wanted to do, because when I was 16 years old, I was playing bars in Oklahoma because I wasn't drinking, but I was. At that time you could go in and perform, and and they just be careful, son. I'd come on in about 2 a.m. So they had no problem with me playing music. I had no problem with and they were proud, of the fact. And when I started getting some cuts and getting some stuff and going and stuff, and then my mother passed away about 20 years ago. I wish she could have seen some of the things I've got to do. But my dad, he lived to be 94 years old. So he's been around for quite a lot of it. And he's been gone a few years now too. But anyway, yeah, they never stopped me. My family was very supportive. Not financially, because we were just, middle class, had to work for everything, we had. So
right.
There was no really financial support, but there was so much other kinds of support that you also really need. I think it helps to have the right people in your life, that help you out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just understanding what you're doing is, or or at least trying to understand what you're doing is that's tough, because a lot of people, if they don't have that creative side or understand some people just listen to music, they don't care anything else about it, and it's harder to understand why you're chasing these things or doing what you're doing. if they just don't have that interest or whatever. So that's cool. That's cool to hear.
Yeah.
Talbo?
Well, we are cruised right by halftime, Soul Gravy. So this is going to be fun because, well, two of us don't know what the song is going to be. Soul Gravy is going to pick out a song that to play for the halftime bit, and then maybe, Jamie, if you don't mind, once he tells us what it is, maybe you can give us a little bit of background on it.
Okay.
Hopefully you remember which one. Like, I never heard that song. No, so just listening in my earphones today when I was at work, the song that stood out to me was the "Never Gonna Hear It From Me." That's one of the ones that I went back and played again. What can you give us a little backstory on that one? And that's the one I guess we'll roll with the play. The pressure's on me.
Yes,
this
sir.
time.
I can. I've got a good backstory on that song. I I wrote that song by myself, and I love the groove. Had a nice feel about it, and my band took my band in and we recorded that tune. But I remember I wrote that song for a girl that absolutely broke my heart so bad. I mean, that was the whole reason. I learned my lesson well. You can go to hell, which is pretty strong lyric, but that's how I felt at the time when I was writing the song out. But it came to me fast, and that's a song that, in fact, that song is in the top 3 or 4 of my songs right now of streaming every week, and that song's been out forever ago. So it's hit a nerve, I think, with a lot of people. Dig that tune and request it. It's a good choice.
Absolutely. Good job, Soul Gravy.
All right.
I was worried for a second.
A suck at why are they famous? Can pick good songs. All right.
That's right.
Here we go. If you're able to hit that mute button while this is playing, and y'all give it a listen.
I'll never say again how much I love you. I'll never say again how much I need you. I might feel it all the way to the bottom of my heart, but I won't mention it again, so you can't watch me fall apart. Never gonna hear it from me. Never gonna hear it from me. I've learned my lesson well. Yeah, you can go to hell. Never gonna hear it from me. Never gonna hear it from me. You only come around 'cause it makes you feel so good that someone really loves you, even if you never could. But things are always changing, and there will come a day when the words I love you, you long for me to say. Never gonna hear it from me. Never gonna hear it from me. I've learned my lesson well. Yeah, you can go to hell. Never gonna hear it from me. 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 I've learned my lesson well. Yeah, you can go to hell. Never gonna hear it from me. Never gonna hear it from me. eternity. Never gonna hear it from me, not even one more I love you.
All right.
Alrighty, there we go.
Thank you.
Couple follow-up questions there. Yeah, it's great. Soule Gravy, production-wise, did that remind you of anybody?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was definitely reminded me of Gary Allen's first album.
Yeah, I thought so too. Yeah, good stuff.
Yeah.
Cynthia, one of our very loyal viewers, made the comment that, man, that's a stinger of a song. It's a,
She also made a request for a rapid fire too. Did you see that?
Okay. Well, I'll work on my glasses and see if I can see it.
I'll read it when the time comes.
That's fair.
Okay.
Yeah, so great tune, obviously, and understand why people dig it. I guess the big question is, did she ever hear it from you?
She did not.
You don't have to answer.
No, I'm
right.
telling you. Yeah, I haven't. I never heard from her since she left, since we broke it off, whatever happened. But I haven't heard about her or from her or nothing. So I think I left her in Nashville, Tennessee. Actually, I mean, she still lives there, I believe. Last I heard. So.
All right. Well, fair enough. I like stories that are actually true. So one of the things, like I'm a little bit of I'm a lot of a nerd when it comes to songwriters. And I spend a lot of time on specifically Spotify going through and kind of verifying who wrote the song. Because in my head, I'm thinking it's one thing and then sometimes it's not. And
yeah,
man, Soule Gravy knows this. One of my favorite songs, I don't know, I'm not going to put a number on it, but it is one of my favorite songs, is that Whiskey song that you wrote. Can you tell us a little bit about how that came out? And I know it's had a little bit of a life since it's been written. So,
yeah, you talking about for Cody that Whiskey song? Yeah, I've got
sir.
5 songs that's Whiskey something. The that song,
For sure.
Casper McWade, who I've known for 30 years, probably in Nashville. I know I met him one night at the VFW there in Shawnee. I never went out there, but there's some kind of special thing going on, and he was playing it, and I hadn't really knew who he was, because I had been gone and in Nashville, and I came back, and anyway, he said, he played a little bit of that song for me. He had a lot of it, part of it done, and I said, man, that's great. I said, if you ever want to work on that more, and he said, and I usually don't do that because I don't really ever help somebody rewrite something unless once in a great while. I mean, most of the stuff I write, we start together, or I start together, or something. But I'll play a little piece of something, But he had some of that done, and I thought, man, I really love that tune, And so a few years passed, and he said, would you be interested in helping me go in the studio with me in Fort Worth at SG Studios, which is Sounds Great Studios. It's Greg White, who used to play in my band, played lead guitar. He owns it, and he's a great engineer, and he's got to know Casper. So we went in, and it was 2 or 3 songs that he brought in, Casper did, and I kind of helped him arrange them and helped him rewrote some lyrics and this, that, and the other. He said, well, I really feel like I want to give you some of this song. He said, but I know for a fact you made it a whole lot better. So I said, whatever you want to do, it's up to you. So I wouldn't, but then he said, then we got it cut by Cody Jinks, and then Casper said, Cody never would have cut that if it wasn't for you because of what you did to the song. And I said, well, whatever. So he gave me a little piece of it. He gave me a little part of it, which he didn't have to. because I wasn't even, wasn't hitting him up
For
for it,
sure.
Right. I wasn't acting like, because
Yeah.
that's just not my personality. I don't feel right about it. Now, I probably did help the song, and I know I helped him get a good demo cut on it and all that stuff. And so he felt strongly enough
Right.
that he owed me some writing and publishing credit on that. I wasn't going to turn it down if he's just going to, say. And then, of course, Cody had cut it, so I was happy about that. And I've known Cody for a long time, and he and I wrote. We talked about writing songs on the phone, this, that, and that. We never did. I'd like to sit down with him now, but he's so busy, you probably can't get to him hardly. But and I'm proud for him. I think he's doing great. But yeah, that's how that came about for that cut for me, was because Casper was really going around a lot here and there and going to watch him and seeing him. And I was up here in Texas doing my thing, or down here playing every weekend somewhere. So, but Casper would come down to Texas. I had an old Silver Eagle tour bus that I sold to Casper. He's got it now. But he would come down and get on that tour bus with me, and we would ride around, and I'd let him open, like he was just trying to get started. And he also feels like that was a lot of help to him at the time, to help him get in Texas a little bit, because he was, where I was in Oklahoma, whole different kind of music there compared to what's going on in Texas, So Casper did that for me as a favor, really. So I helped him, but I mean, he didn't have to go that route. There's a lot of people that wouldn't have. So I've always think that was pretty cool of him to do that.
Absolutely. It's man, it's a great song. If y'all haven't heard it, I mean, I know a lot of people have heard it because Cody cut it, but Casper's version is fantastic, and I think we maybe even talked about it a little bit when he was on. But yeah, I mean, will always be one of my favorite songs. So salute to you on that.
Episode 172 with Casper.
Episode 172. Thank you.
I was thinking about that when you said the different scenes or different styles, Oklahoma, Texas, and then the Nashville thing. What you've kind of navigated all three of those things. I guess doing that, has that kind of shaped your sound more, or have you been able to kind of keep it kind of what you had in mind from the get-go? Does that make sense?
Well, yeah, it makes good sense. I don't know if it's a good thing, but I haven't really changed a whole lot. But
well,
I know
you made a career out of this thing. So.
I have made a career out of it. I have made that. I'm proud of what I've accomplished, and hopefully I can accomplish even more with this new record. But I feel like that Oklahoma tends to be more top 40 country stuff. And you get down here in Texas, and I'm talking about top 40, like the big boys, I don't know.
Understand. Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like the Jelly Rolls and Post Malones and people like that now, which are not, that's not what I consider country. But anyway, but Texas was always more for the singer-songwriter. There was plenty of radio stations here to play it, which at one point, if you weren't on a major label, you couldn't get on a radio station, a major, because Clear Channel owned them, or one of those, and you couldn't do it unless you were on a big label. But that's opened up and changed, and I think for the best for people like me, because how many slots did RCA offer a year, or radio slots open up for those big? Not many. They play the same 20 artists day after day. Back in the day, but now it's like wide open, man. It don't matter if you got some talent and you got a good style and people start following you and like you can make a career out of it. I've seen that with my own two eyes, so it works, which is great.
I would love to have one of those radio stations here in town. Like personally, that would be my ultimate dream job would be that. But that's a hill I ain't even going to try to climb. But that is great to hear. And thinking about that, the radio thing, we just had a clip that I posted today with Matt Hillier, talking about hearing his songs on the radio, periodically, maybe sometimes surprisingly, Do you remember the first time that happened for you?
It's weird, but I had at the beginning, I liked to, when I was in Texas, I had Don't Try to Find Me, which was my first single, and it got up to 17, but it was played. We still get so many requests for that, probably more than we do anything. And I finally heard it uh, after several months, and I can remember thinking, all right, listen to this. I've done it. I've done something. There it is on the radio. But I don't know what Matt. I'm really good
about
friends
what
with
year?
Matt. Do what? What year? What year?
Yes, sir.
That was in 2001.
Yeah.
That was my very first single, and I actually heard it probably 2001 or two. So I had just gotten to Texas.
I got you.
I've still actually lived in Nashville still, and but I signed to the D record company right after I got in with Curb. I was still writing for Curb, and I had a record deal with them that they didn't ever do a whole lot with. We had some chances, but anyway, I wanted to keep my writer's deal with them because they were paying me a salary to write, and it enabled me to not do anything but write songs, and then I could come to Oklahoma into Texas and play music. So it was the best of both worlds there for me.
And then jumping forward here, 25 years, when you're trucking around town or whatever, and you may, hear your song these days, I'm sure that's a feeling that doesn't get old.
Not at all. I still hear it sometimes, and every time I do, it's like what I love mostly for me is when I'm playing a venue and I'll have real fans there that know my music and they're singing it as they dance by or they're standing by the stage or whatever.
Okay.
And that's something I thought I might not ever see because I know how hard it is to do that. But I've seen it a lot here. I've definitely paid my dues down here in Texas, but no matter where I go play with my band, whether it's in Corpus or whether it's in El Paso or wherever it is, there's some people there that know who I am. And that's nice to know because they've heard it. And radio's been the reason that they know who I am. It hadn't been this big bunch of money, promotion, everything. It's been because they've heard it. They know the songs, So that's cool.
Right.
Good.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That's the way it should be, but it's just not given the opportunity, unfortunately.
Y'all moved to Texas. Come on down. All right. Well, we are up against it because we're committed to getting you out here in an hour. This is the rapid fire section of the show. So you don't have to do a lot. Just kind of off the top of your head, if you wouldn't mind. And I'll hit you, Soule Gravy, here in a second.
Okay. I got to find it.
Jamie, what is your favorite chord on the guitar?
I love the B minor chord, E minor, the minors. That's my favorite chord.
Yeah. Well, sad songs I get it. So, this question is: you get dinner with one historical figure. They could be dead or alive. Who are you going to break bread with, and what are y'all going to eat?
I'd like to hang out with John Wayne at a steakhouse, I guess.
That sounds like fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd also like to be there.
Yeah.
All right. You've seen a few of these. What's your ideal green room look like?
It's weird, but most green rooms are definitely not green. I don't know where they got that green part of that room. But I would say I love a green room that might have plenty of nice couches and chairs and maybe a TV, maybe a ice chest that they brought in with us with some beer in it, maybe a bottle of Jack Daniels. That'd be good.
Yeah, sounds good. Is there one, I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but is there one green room that kind of maybe had an extra impact on you? You're like, yeah, this one, they did it right.
I could probably go more the other way. I remember, the one I played at
Call them out, step it up, guys.
Yeah, in Durant. Oklahoma. I got to open for Charlie Daniels there, and they put us in this.
Oh
It was
wow.
all marble, beautiful green room. I remember that being the nicest one I could ever recall being in.
Yep. It's going to take a lot to kick you out, right?
Yes, for sure.
All right. This one.
So the green room started in the 17th and 18th century in Britain.
Okay.
Oh,
because green was soothing to actors' eyes from the harsh stage lighting and to calm nerves.
that makes sense.
There you go.
I wouldn't have thought of that. Thank you, Soule Gravy.
You're welcome.
Mark the tape on that one. I want to know, Jamie, I want to know first concert that you attended, and then the first concert that you paid to go see.
Okay. I can remember a package show with Willie Nelson was the main act, and I remember Tom T. Hall was on that show.
Oh,
and
talk about songwriting.
Mm-hmm.
I know he's amazing. But Willie, I think Waylon was on it. It was in Oklahoma City, and maybe at some outside amphitheater, may have been at the zoo amphitheater, maybe something like that. I don't know, but I was a teenager, and it had a big impact because I remember Willie had two drummers, full kits, behind him, and it was amazing. That's the one that I think that I recall that was a big concert that I went to when I was young.
Nice.
Two drummers trying to keep Willie on time.
That's a full-time job.
I know.
Willie will come in
shout
whenever
out
he
to
feels
them.
like.
All right.
I know.
He
You
does,
just keep
yeah.
it rolling. He'll be
Waylon
there in
did
a
the same,
second.
Yeah.
Waylon would just start running, and everybody'd have to catch up, right?
Yep.
Gravy, this would be a good time for Cynthia's question since I can't see it.
Okay, all right. Well, I gotta go scroll back. Oh, if you could have your music on a show, a TV show or movie soundtrack. And personally, I like to hear that as more of the creative side and not the financial side. Where do you what's a movie or a TV show that you think it would your music would belong to?
Well, it's interesting, but for the first time really in my life, maybe the second time, I've got a publicist working with me, and she's kind of talking to maybe some people that are right down the road from where I live in Weatherford. You probably know what's coming, but it's the Yellowstone and Landman, that stuff that's on now. I think there's a lot of my songs that would fit well with that situation. I mean, Taylor Sheridan's ranch is right down the road. I haven't been there, but I mean, it's not far. But I think I got some stuff that would fit great on some of those shows. So that'd be fun.
Oh, I'd love to see that.
And I have another personal rapid fire question. Have you ever ran across, whether it be in a live setting or even on social media, somebody covering any of your songs?
Yes, I have. I've walked in, I've been at places, I don't know if I was there just hanging out, but I've heard people do about 3 of my songs, full band shows. And that's such a great compliment